Paris Lawson, OKCThunder.com. Coaches, obviously a pretty big tale of two halves there. 77 in the first, and you held them to just 34 in the second half. Just what flipped defensively for you guys in that second half?
We just had way more of a care factor, and we were way tougher. Shut the paint off, shut the glass off, contested everything. We were not as tough as we aspire to be at all in the first half. And, I credit our guys. They got the car back on the road, and, from the first possession of the second half, they were into it and sustained it throughout. So credit to the guys. It was a great second half.
Nick Gallo, OKCThunder.com. Mark, I know you were very confident before the game that you all would maintain your style, but 70 points in the paint offensively. What'd you like best about the way you all did it as a team tonight? Yeah,
I thought we drove it. Opened the paint up. We attacked. I thought, even our offensive toughness in the first half wasn't there. We were bailing out, shooting floaters and shooting over hands. In the second half, we played a lot more force, which started the blender. You gotta have an initial thrust, and then you gotta move it and respect good defense. And I thought we did that in the second half.
Jerry Ramsey, the franchise. Talk about J-Dub's night. Second most minutes that he's played this season, career high. Just kind of took over the game for a little bit there.
He was big time. Yeah, he was really good. Continues to get better. Defense especially. I know obviously he scored tonight, but the thing that's intriguing about him is just his size out there. You look at him out there, and he's huge for a wing, and it's hard to find big wing defenders like that. And he's strong, he's tough, he's smart, and he's got great length and size. And once his fundamentals kind of catch up to the rest of those ingredients, he's going to be a really good defensive player too. So, another touch point for him, but should be a good night for his confidence especially.
You've talked about letting the guys figure it out, and they continue to show how poised they are. So do you think there's a correlation between you letting them figuring out and them showing how poised they are no matter who's on the court?
I wouldn't take credit for it. I'd give it to them. They're young and inexperienced, which is well documented, but they're young professionals, and they're highly committed. And I think they are team-oriented by nature, and that doesn't mean that we always play as a team. But I think they kind of return home to that when you pointed out. I thought we pointed it out this morning. We pointed out the toughness at halftime, and they got both of those things right in the second half, and they deserve the credit for that.
Mark, I asked you about Trey's struggles before the game. Came up really big tonight. What'd you see from him?
It's a long season. It's a long career. And for a guy like him that's so based on rhythm, there's going to be times like this where he struggles. And not only him, but every player. I think it's important to just apply that lesson to everyone. And, like I said, the thing I'm most pleased with through the struggles is he continued to compete, and he continued to play the right way. And that's what gives you confidence to stick with a guy, because you're like, all right, he hasn't allowed the outcomes of the shots to impact his engagement or his team orientation or his competitiveness, and that didn't happen. And so I give him a lot of credit for weathering the storm there and staying focused on what he can control. And he's a really talented player. Obviously, it's going to come back around.
Usman had 10 and 7 on just his third game back up with you guys. What'd you see from him?
I thought he played with really good force, especially in the second half. He was better defensively in the second half, more competitive on the glass in the second half. And I think it's, it just speaks to the blue, like we sent him there. He got a lot of minutes. It was a really intentional plan. And he's a better player when he came back after a short stint, and he's gotten better kind of with every experience. And so summer league, training camp, starts with us, goes to the blue. He's kind of emerging from these little mini developmental retreats better every time, and we'll get him back to the blue because of that reason. We'll pump him with more minutes and send him down there with another thing to focus on, and then we'll bring him back and check back in with him. And he was really good tonight, obviously, but it's important that we zoom out and see that this is a young player, and this is part of a much bigger plan for his development.
Justin, wanted to ask about Darius. When you guys were having a tough time getting stops in the first half, did you consider putting him in? And then what kind of energy did you think he brought there when he came in the third?
Yeah, I mean, I credit him. He stayed ready, and he did a great job, and he gave us a huge lift. Sometimes you exert a lot of energy to get back into the game, and then you'll sub, and those guys are like fresh, and sometimes there's a drop-off, even when you're the guys that start the second half or start the game, are going pretty good. And he came in and sustained the energy. Trey came in, sustained the energy. Ooze came in, sustained the energy. I was trying a couple different guys first half and, was just looking for something. And he was the one guy I didn't go to, and he's a defensive player. And, he delivered in a big way. He was really good.
You take 31 points out of your lineup, you're not going to get better. But was that while the first half just didn't have any spark? Was there something else going on there that just one of those nights in the first half for the guys?
I think, we aspire to be a team that is energized by, winning fundamentals, and that's hard to do. That's a high bar, and we're not going to be there tomorrow. But, I thought the problem in the first half wasn't who played or who didn't play. The problem in the first half was we couldn't get ourselves into the game on things that, we really have to care about, like help defense and, contesting shots and rebounding the ball or hitting somebody so someone else can get a rebound, or running hard, or playing with force in the action, or moving it with force. Those are invisible fundamentals. They don't get any attention. No one's really noticing them, but really good teams have an appreciation for them, and they get energized by doing those things. And we need to become a team that, becomes energized by those things and, leans on those things for energy when we don't have it. And I thought in the first half we didn't, and coming out of halftime we did. And I thought that shows the power of that.
You learned something about your team because you don't have him to lean on those crucial moments, and it was Jalen tonight, other guys kind of stepped up. You learned something about your team?
Yeah, and I thought all those guys, at different times in the fourth quarter, when it became a possession game, they gave us good stuff. Trey, Jalen, Josh, Lou. We kind of did it by committee. Obviously, Jalen had the big one to put us up by 4, but those guys did a really good job. We executed down the stretch. We got to our stuff, which is really important. I thought we were better at that tonight than we were in New Orleans the other night, and we got quality shots as a result.
We get caught up in the player battles all the time where two guys from opposite teams have it going at the same time. One of the underrated parts are the coaching battles that you guys go through. So do you ever get, I guess caught up in wouldn't be the right word, come to a realization during the game where you're like, I got to make an adjustment to his adjustment and so on and so?
Sometimes, it depends on what's going on in the game. There's times where, another coach forces you to react, or you want to force them to react. Tonight, I wasn't really coaching against him. I was trying to coach for our team, especially once we got off to, a little bit of a lull. I was trying some different things, tried a different lineup out of halftime. Obviously went to Baisley in the second half. And none of that was like Coach Popovich related. It was to try to get our team, to our identity, which for us, 9 times out of 10, if I'm doing anything in the game, it's for that. It's not necessarily to outduel the other coach at this stage of the game. It's more to pour into our guys and, get us playing the way that I've described.
Anyone else? Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thanks.